check. What is up, guys? Welcome to another podcast streamy stream. You know what I mean, and I am super excited, guys. Super excited to be able to interview Mathias from BadRez Games. If you love RPGs, if you love JRPGs, and you love fighting games, then you have been flooded. You have been flooded with ads on ads. Like, I literally just checked my Instagram on my phone, and the first ad that popped up was for a Fighters Nova. And so we are about to get in contact, and I'm going to hit this. Ooh, you know what? Actually, hold up. I totally forgot one thing. Mathias, I do apologize. I need to start my my little, whatchamacallit. I totally forgot about my VTuber, my little cat. Give me like 5 seconds. There's one thing I forgot about, but it was like, hey, don't you want to do this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I do. So I totally forgot to launch this, but you know what? We will get on the phone call right now, and I will troubleshoot that while things are going on. Oh, there we go. Cool. We will turn on camera, and I'm going to get this going. And change the background to, I want to say it's 6. Yes, 6. Whee! Yay! All right, Mathias, welcome.
Hey.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and, trying to finagle all of these things that you have to do. I guess for the uninitiated, if you could just let the people know who you are and where you came from.
All right, so my name is Mathias. I'm the founder of BadRez Games, a video game studio that focuses on fighting games with a twist. I'm a former programmer. I used to work in AAA studios like Ubisoft and Bethesda, and the studio has existed since 2021. We've shipped one game so far, which is called Checkmate Showdown, which mixes a fighting game and chess. And lately we have announced a Fighters Nova Mindara, which mixes fighting game and JRPG.
Yes, and it is fabulous. I mean, so fabulous. You guys even got the endorsement of Mr. Moment 37 himself, Justin Wong.
Justin Wong, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I mean,
it's
he
been
said,
it's been a huge surprise to us, but it's really cool.
I'm honestly surprised that Maximilian dude hasn't done any videos or talked about it, because he loves JRPGs and he loves fighting games. So putting this game together, like this is a perfect type, and he loves tag fighters. I mean, he is all about the tag fighters. So this is just like a game that just screams Maximilian dude for sure.
We tried to contact him, I think a few times, but he's probably very busy as well, and
yeah,
he has a huge schedule.
Sure. Yeah, but no, like I said earlier, I found out about you guys because you guys have a heavy meta ad rotation going on. Like, I literally every time I'm on Instagram, especially on my phone, it was just this Fighters Nova game, and I was like, okay, cool. And then Next Fest came along, and they were like, hey, like I joined the Discord, and they're like, hey, we're in Next Fest, try the prototype. So I tried the prototype, and I was like, this is great. Like, I love this. and of course, I every time I'm playing a game now, um, I'm always reviewing it in a adaptive. Is this going to be able to be played not just by me, but by the community that I've kind of surrounded myself with,
Presenting.
which
Mhm.
is the Blind FGC. I don't know if you know, but there is a good number of blind people that play fighting games. I was just hanging out yesterday on a live stream with my buddy Rattlehead, who is a professional MK player, and one of the guys who just threw a Street Fighter 6 tournament came from Dragon Ball Z Fighters. His name's Kid Vision, and so there is a huge blind um, and low vision uh, community
Community.
of 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 players. And I was showing this game off to one of my low vision um, counterparts. His name's Glitch Vision, and he loves the game. And I was talking to him because we've been playing together this game called Cloudheim. And in Cloudheim, there is what he loved about it, though, is that you guys had really good directional audio. Like off the bat, he was
Thank
like,
you.
directional audio is pretty peak. And so I was like, awesome, like this is great. But like when we were walking up to a chest, he was like, I wish the chest had a chime that you could hear if it was like in the direction, just
Mm,
like Cloudheim.
yeah.
Because
Mhm.
Cloudheim, you can he could hear these chimes. I couldn't hear it. He has great hearing, and he was like, "Oh, go over here. It's top right left screen. You're gonna find it." And then I could finally hear it, and I'm like, "Yep, makes some sense." So and then yesterday we were talking about, um, but actually I'll get into that later. But let's talk about the success. I want to talk to you about why this game and
Right.
why what like how long have you guys been working on this game, and
Mm.
then throwing it out to the wolves in a crowdfunding format to get crowdfunded.
Yeah, so we're working on fighting games. We've been working on fighting games, like I said, since 2021. We released the Checkmate in 2023, end of 2023, and from that point we started another project. Fighting games are a genre that is such a niche that it's hard to find investors and publishers that are willing to take the risk to create new games in the genre.
Right.
Because there's the big three and stuff like that. So we were working on this game, which we have not really announced so far, but it's called Overdrive. And at some point, we're kind of running out of investment for this game, and we're like, okay, maybe we need to think about something else. A new project that would use our fighting engine that we've developed since 2021, and that could use that twist that we are trying to add to our fighting games to make them like a bit different. And the art director of the company, who is the actual game director of Mindara, he's always wanted to have JRPG. He's a huge Final Fantasy fan and Dragon Ball fan and Secret of Mana fan. And he was like, and I would suggest that we would do a JRPG X fighting game, and that would be looking like this and this and stuff. And it comes with the story, it comes with this. To see if we can do like just take the engine, try to do if we can like have a map where we have this character running around and a few mobs here and there, and when you encounter a mob, we just trigger the fighting engine just like we do in Checkmate Showdown, basically.
Right. I
And
do remember
yeah, it
seeing
works.
Checkmate Showdown. I think I saw a video about it last year or somebody like on Instagram. Somebody was like, check out like unique fighting games. And I was like, oh, I that totally went under my radar. And so I was like, I'm horrible at chess, but that is a really unique thing. And the thing is that
Yeah.
you guys really aren't the only ones that want to take this JRPG with a fighting game combat system. There's another game called The Hidden Ones that's really
Yeah.
doing more of a 3D um, Genshin Impact type of
Yeah.
RPG, but then the fighting game mechanics is more like a 3D Tekken Dead or Alive type
Okay, yeah.
of fighting game
Yeah.
combat system. And so I think
Yes.
it's very interesting that you guys aren't the only ones. Although I do like the more 2D tag fighting style over 3D. I mean, I did get to do a little bit of beta testing, I think last year for the hidden ones, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun, but it's a little complicated, and especially for blind players, I think blind players and low vision players would definitely have it's more railgun type of,
Mm,
you guys have a path that you guys can't really stray from, and it's not hard to like get lost or like lose your way. And so that's
yeah.
why I think your game kind of shines in that moment as in an accessibility standpoint, um, for a lot of things. And then
No, no, for sure.
what you guys are wanting to do with just like a versus mode and all that, I was just like, yeah, this game I think is definitely going to resonate a lot more than Hidden Ones, for especially for the adaptive fighting game community. And so I
Yeah, for sure. We can use a lot of. There are a lot of new stuff that has come in the fighting game industry for the past few years, especially with Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat and 2XKO. They all try to improve the accessibility of the game. So there's definitely a path that is drawn right now that we could follow to include more people, like you said, especially blind people and low vision people, to be able to play the game.
right. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
actually just a mod, just a guy from Brazil. Name's Ali Bueno. That's what he goes by on GitHub. But he just created um, a mod for the blind and low vision community for Street Fighter 6 to have narrated menus throughout the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
game.
yeah.
So all the menus in training mode are now narrated. All of the menus, and everything that you highlight is going to tell you, oh, you're in a
Yeah.
lobby and you're in slot one, and slot one is 1v1. And so he's blind, and he like was like, yeah, I just created this mod, just dump all this stuff into the Street Fighter folder, and it's going to generate this, and it's running off of NVDA, which is a free text to speech program that a lot
Program,
of
yeah.
blind and low vision people use to navigate their PCs. And so it's running, the program is just the NVDA is just picking up everything within that program, and everybody in the blind FGC right now is loving that mod. And Carlos, like I said, Rattlehead, who I just hung out with last week online, he is actually one of the consultants for NetherRealms, and he is one of the reasons why Mortal Kombat 1 had the text to
Yeah.
speech accessibility. It was because of him and another buddy of his. And so yeah, if you need anybody, I have your hookup. So if you need consultants in
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
area,
for sure.
and you need
It's
somebody to work on the text to speech, like I have the pipeline to help you guys
yeah,
get that.
it's really interesting. It's really interesting. We want, the more we move on, the more we want to have more people playing the game and give more accessibility to the game. We try to have like colorblind features, for the like changing the colors of the screen for colorblind people. We try to give even more accessibility just by removing the motion inputs or making them optional for the players that are like that have harder time to manipulate the game with their thumbs, with like doing the quarter circle stuff
Oh
and
yeah,
all.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
it's really interesting, and
I
it's
want
funny that you talk
I
about NetherRealm, because I think that they even went as far as describing the fatalities. I think
Yes.
while they were happening,
Yeah,
they actually
there
like
is
that.
actually, I think the girl that does the description of that, she also does video description um, for big events like Summer's Game Fest and the Game Awards. and there's like video description videos, and she actually is the one that does the narration and describing what's on screen, and she, I believe, is the one that is describing all of those fatalities. And so,
Okay, really?
which is
Yeah.
great. And what I love already that you guys have in the prototype is voice acted cutscenes, and
Yeah.
with that, you have the cutscenes written out for the deaf, you have the cutscenes voiced for the low vision and blind, which I find is great. The one thing that is not in the game right now is customizable controls, but I know it's just a prototype, so that
Yeah,
will get
absolutely. Absolutely.
that will get there in time, because I'm so used to having my control scheme kind of set up the same exact way for every game, especially for a game that has a modern type control scheme, because I play modern for Street Fighter and City of the Wolves. So my control scheme is usually pretty much the same. So my special button
Mm.
is in the same spot. Light, medium, heavy is always in the same spot. And so, and then
All right. Yeah.
that is always, I always make sure that those four buttons are the same with every game. So my muscle memory is pretty much the same.
Yeah, yeah, really. It's really interesting. I think that with Steam now, because implementing a custom control scheme is something in a video game, no matter what game, and especially for fighting games, it's kind of harder because the way that you handle inputs are kind of different. So this is usually not the feature that we are focusing on at first, because you want to do this when you feel that your game is complete, in terms of mechanics and stuff, because sometimes you're gonna have to change that feature. That mechanic is going to change the button, or now you're gonna have to press two buttons at the same time. Sometimes it's light plus medium, sometimes it's gonna change to light plus special, for example, or something like
Right.
that. So it's
Exactly.
always something that we always do at the end. I think that it's not the first time that we get told that it should have been in the prototype, even though. But the thing is, with all the tools that there exist also on Steam and stuff like that, we were like, all right, we're comfortable with this, but yeah,
But the
that's
thing is
definitely
you
something
guys,
that the platform.
you
Yeah,
guys have it as a standard. The way the controls are laid out, it's pretty much a
yeah,
default
yeah,
standard
absolutely,
across the board
absolutely,
for something like like Marvel Tokon. Even like what you said,
yeah.
even Marvel Tokon right now. I was talking with some friends, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they're changing the button layouts around now, so it's going to be different from when I played in the beta till the release coming out in a month." So I found that as interesting
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah, 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 for sure. But this is definitely something that we're going to carry over Mindara and over our next games. That control scheme has to be easily modifiable, even when we release a prototype, just for people to enjoy the game more,
Right,
for sure.
right. And I was talking with my friend Glitch about the game, and we came up with an idea that I would love to pitch you guys. Is that having a MP, having, because you have your character and then you have your NPC, but having your NPC kind of lead you, kind of like, or in a co-op mode, to where you and another player can play, kind of like in 2XKO, how you have a duos mode, but
Yeah.
you have a duos mode within the RPG itself, where there's an option to where one of you is tethered to that person, and that person is the leader. And
Mm,
then when you
yeah.
get and when you or if you're playing it single player, that the NPC is the leader and kind of guides you around through the areas, picking up your coins, and then putting you to the treasure boxes, leading you to the rocks, leading you to the flowers to knock out. You being able to do those actions, but walking through the NPC, there is like they just walk a path through all the maps. But
Mm.
then every time you hit something, you get to do that action. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see exactly what you mean. We already have the intention to have the co-op mode for the game.
right?
So that's already something that we have, and you can decide whether or not you are going to be both in exploration and both in fighting game, or if one of the players is going to be only playing the exploration and the other is going to be doing only the fighting aspect. So we have all that already configured. But for a single player, you know what? It's actually really interesting to think about how we could do it. I have a few ideas in mind of how we could implement this in a game like that. It would definitely be on our watch list for sure.
Yeah. And I saw right now, because you guys have, congratulations, by the way, finally got funded.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
like I was like I saw the Justin video, and I went on and was like, okay, cool. Like, did that give him a boost? And I was like, it kind of gave him a boost a little bit. And I was like, but they still
Yeah.
have this much money to raise, and and this much time. And I was like, I'm hoping they get funded, because like when I get my paycheck next week, I am going to fund, because you guys' Kickstarter ends like a day after I get paid. So I am
All
like a
right.
day or two after I get paid. So I am using that paycheck to crowdfund and get the digital version, because I don't. I would get a physical version, but you guys are only doing physical versions for Switch 2 and PS and PlayStation, which is totally fine. So, but I mean, if there was a like digital version for Steam that came with like a figurine or something like that, that I would have definitely done that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
understand a lot of people are just going to stick to the because there's no physical copies needed for PCs anymore. But
No, not anymore. Yeah.
my question is why is it just? I mean, I do understand why Switch 2 and PlayStation, especially PlayStation, because when you do have that versus mode, I know with a lot of the offline tournaments like CEO, Evo, Combo Breaker, all of those are run off of PlayStation. So they're going to need to have the download um, capabilities to download the game to play offline. But why no Xbox?
You know, we'd love to do an Xbox version of the game. It's not about not being able to do it. It's more that specifically for that kind of games, we measured that the PlayStation and Switch versions of the game were more the crowd that we are targeting, for the audience that we are targeting for this game, is way more on PlayStation and Switch than on Xbox.
Right. Yeah, I
So
mean,
basically, and porting a game on every console, it comes it comes with a cost and all and we are a very small team.
right.
So the thing is, we could not promise having the game on Xbox, um, just because it comes with a bigger cost than just like having to turn to turn a switch on your Unreal Engine and say, all right, now that works on Xbox. So we had to, and you don't want, even for a Kickstarter, you don't want to make empty promises that you cannot keep. One of the reasons that we did not have too many um, physical rewards is that no plushes, no figurines, and stuff like that. It's because it it's way harder to keep that kind of promises for a small studio like us.
Right.
So we've decided to under promise, over deliver. So we're not saying no to the Xbox version. We just cannot promise that it's going to come on the Xbox, and not on the Xbox, at release day. But we would love to be able to bring that game on the Xbox for sure.
I mean,
Um, yeah,
historically, the Nintendo and the PlayStation were kind of the go-to consoles for
yeah,
JRPGs and fighting
yeah,
games, and Xbox was more about first-person shooters, the
exactly,
gun and ball
exactly.
games. There wasn't a lot of JRPGs or RPGs on that platform historically. So I do understand why just sticking, and PC, of course. So I do understand, like, hey, historically, like, this is where the fan base is on that platform. Historically, our fan base is going to have these three systems. So that definitely makes sense. And after I
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I
But
was just like, oh yeah, historically, like,
you know what?
Xbox is not like a JRPG or fighting game. Well,
No,
besides
no.
maybe Street Fighter 4 was like kind of like their push into the fighting game realm, and
Yeah,
doing a lot of
exactly.
tournaments in '09 for Street Fighter 4. But historically, Xbox is not known for fighting games or RPG games.
Yeah, yeah.
So that definitely makes sense.
And you know what?
And
I'm an Xbox player at first. You know, I've had every Xbox since Xbox 360. I had switched back then to from PlayStation to Xbox for like almost 20 years. Um, so you know, it's not about like hating the platform and stuff. It's really about like how do you prioritize your audience? You know.
right, right. And let me ask you this: as an Xbox fan, what do you think about that 25-year anniversary Xbox Series X?
Um, uh, I'm not a big fan of the very first Xbox. Actually, you know, like I said, I started with the X360, so I think it's a cool marketing product here, and it's cool that they um, promote their 25th anniversary. I already have an Xbox at home here, which is way enough for me. So no, I think it's cool that they do this. Um, I don't think I'm gonna be a customer to that new version.
Right. A buddy of mine, he was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to either." He's a big Xbox guy. He right now he has a his one of his pride and joys is an R2D2 Xbox 360.
Mm.
And so
Oh, really?
he's all about that. But I wanted to ask you, um, because I want to say that. Let me look at this real quick. Um, So, if I remember correctly, that the game is projected to come out in because it says December estimated delivery for the you know what, I'm actually just gonna throw this on the stream. Give me 2 seconds. Here, share uh, right here.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you guys can see this, um, there we go. So here is the Kickstarter, and we have 6 days left, y'all. 6 days left. We did meet the pledge. So we are 100% funded, or y'all are 100% funded. And the thing is, it's not that bad of a deal. $30 for the digital, Canadian, 22, American. Um, the insider pack, you get digital and all of this really cool stuff, which I actually might do. The challenger pack, you have the physical is only it's about $80.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, I mean that's a typical like
Range for Kickstarter.
yeah, I mean, well, not even that. I mean, like we have $80, almost $80 games right now. Tokon is $80, including the Fighters Pass, and that's not including. It's like $100 if you want to get all of the alternate outfits for your avatars and stuff like that. So this isn't, you know, that you know that off for a fighting game, especially and especially it's a fighting slash JRPG. I mean, just you're getting the best of both worlds. Think about paying uh, just like $40 for a JRPG and $40 for a fighting game, but you're putting those together and getting one whole game. So yeah, $80. But yeah, there is just a lot of tiers to pick from, and I mean, I honestly am, super excited about you guys finally getting funded, and my question is, because it says that that is going to be estimated delivery 2028. I know a lot of indie developers, especially for fighting games, they take about like around a year or a year and a half before their game comes out. They start showing it off. Especially like at Evo, Combo Breakers, Frosty Faustines, and all of the kind of big major fighting game tournaments and other events that the JRPG and fighting game crowds will be at. My question to you is, what events are you hoping to be at before launch, and when do you think we will see a BadRez game booth at said events?
Yeah, there are lots of them that we want to show our games to. We actually, I should have been able to do it at Evo this year, but some events, some circumstances have prevented me from getting there. But I was in talks with the Evo guys to be able to show off the game at that moment, at that convention. Sorry, but of course, we'd like to be there for every major fighting game convention for sure. Combo Breaker, the Evo, the Frosty Fasting, etc. And of course, we are going to be doing some Comic Cons, Otaku Cons, stuff like that. So for sure, it comes with the budget of bringing the whole team, or our key members of the team to the booth, to the specific places. But we are going to be doing the major ones for sure.
Right. And have you guys figured out what Evos you guys are going to be going to? Because they have broadened their horizons with different Evos. Because you got Evo Vegas, Evo Japan, Evo France, Evo Brazil, Evo Mexico.
Well, the Vegas is definitely the one that you don't want to miss, I think, for now. And I'm French actually. I live here in Montreal, but I was born in France, so for sure that I'd like to, a huge number of the members of the team actually come from France. So we are definitely going to have a booth at some point. Not this year, but probably the year after. We're gonna have a booth at the Evo for sure. And we're in Montreal, so next to there is Chicago for the Combo Breaker in May.
Frosty Faustines is in that area too.
Yeah, that's in January. Well, for sure.
I actually just saw a video that Combo Breaker actually had more attendees than this upcoming Evo Vegas.
It is definitely possible.
So Combo Breaker is kind of the FGC's FGC event of the homegrown kind of everybody is going. So I think Combo Breaker over Evo Vegas. But I mean, Evo France definitely should be. But I makes a lot more sense to go into Evo France over Evo Vegas for for you guys' team. I believe it, and I definitely see the vision for that. But yeah,
I've heard that. I've heard today that the Evo Vegas is not that popular, as popular as the previous years. We'll see how it goes.
I know that I just saw a video that Combo Breaker got I think they got a 44% bump in attendees for signups for participating, and then Evo got a 33% drop. Yeah, because they had for Street Fighter 6 they had about over 4,000, and this year they only had 2,000 people signed up.
And what do you think explains that?
I think it is because of the buyout earlier this year, and a lot of influencers like Sejam and Maximilian are just like, yeah, this isn't going to be the Evo that I know and that I've come to support. And so
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of people are just like,
yeah.
yeah, like we're not gonna, participate. But I do know a lot of people that are in your position are still going. Like my buddy Paul is out there promoting his game Scrabble
Paul,
Heart City.
yeah, Paul Weeks. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
so and then my buddy Zach from Able Gamers is out there. One of my buddy Ben, who sponsors me with the controller, he is Hitbox Counter Hit Customs. He makes these smaller hitboxes and nano hitboxes, um, and so he's there. And then of course, all of the bigger people, and then all of the like a lot of the indie people that are coming out with games are still going to promote their game, and so but I could see you guys more going to a France and then doing like combo breaker Faustines and like CEO as kind of your three major like American events um
Mm-hmm.
over Evo because Vegas is super expensive. I think that
Yes, yes, yes.
if you cut out Vegas, I think that you would have a better budget to do at least Frosty, Combo Breaker, and Evo. I think that that would
Yeah,
help
for sure.
you
Mm-hmm.
do those three well than
Yeah,
having it do you being able to do you know just a few or Evo poorly, I should say. Not
mm-hmm.
I mean because just the budget and just trying to stretch yourself thin is not ideal. And I know like Paul, he started promoting Scrabble Heart like last year, I want to say. And so he was about a year and a half in development with Scrabble Heart. And then now he's about 6-ish months, I think he said he wants to get it out by Q4 of this year. Um, that's what his goal is. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, BadRez is probably going to do the same thing. Starting in 2027, we hopefully will probably see them at like a Frosty or at least Combo Breaker, and see, at least I'm thinking at least Combo Breaker and CEO um, for 2027, and then maybe more as an American fighting game events.
No,
Uh,
for sure.
those
We've
are
heard.
my two predictions that
Yeah.
I could see you potentially at having been able to raise the funds and and save up for those two events and not having to deal with trying to pay the money for an Evo Vegas or an Evo France. And
Well,
putting Evo France more in a 2028 when you guys are at that final push, that final haul. Hey, this is our game. We French Canadians. you know, and so this is this is what we did. Hope you love it. And then being able to do do Frosty and Combo Breaker, and then already having that, you know, the that having that appearance at the year prior, so people already know, oh, I played this awesome JRPG meets fighting game, and it got a ton of praise, from Justin, and now other people, Brian F is talking about it, Sage M is talking about it, PDX is talking about it, and I got to play it at that. But they say they're going to be at this, and I'm going to be at there. I'm excited to play it again. And just having those really good moments of offline interactions with people.
for sure. Starting 2027, you are going to hear a lot more about us from that point on because, like I said earlier, we don't have only Mindara in the pipeline right now. It's not the only project on the stove that we have, but you know, we definitely are going to bring the game m- to more people down the line. Now that we have secured our funding, now that we have, like, we start having community around the game, we definitely want to bring it to these kind of events even more than before.
Right. what kind of merchandise do you think we're going to be able to see at these offline events that you guys?
Oh yeah,
What
yeah.
let me just ask you, like, what would your dream like merchandise be besides like plushies and like
Oh,
controllers?
figurines for sure. I've always been a fan of figurines. I have a lot of them, and in my house, I think lots of the members of the team have figurines. So definitely, and of course, classic shirts and pins and stuff like that. That stuff that is easy to transport over to different locations. So yeah,
Right. Are
but I can, we have not thought about that
far ahead.
really far ahead, because one thing at a time. Right now we just focus on celebrating the fact that we get the Kickstarter funded. Um, we still need more funding for the game afterwards, um, to bring it to to the quality that we are aiming for. But yeah, it's at some when we are going to be at these events, we are going to focus at some point at, all right, what we are going to bring more than just the game on a PC,
And
for sure.
as we saw, you guys have 6 days, and in the crowdfunding, you guys have a 90K Canadian for versus mode and online rollback. Even if you guys don't get that stretch goal, will we see online rollback and a versus mode?
Well, I love to we love to bring it to the game for sure. Like I said, Kickstarter is one line of funding that you get for your game. It's not all about the Kickstarter. So we are working with external partners and having discussions here and there to get even more funding for the game. Um, the thing is, we are using our own fighting engine that we've made out of, from Checkmate Showdown. So, and Checkmate Showdown was a versus game with rollback netcode. So when we started working on Mindara, there are a few features here and there that we did not make rollback compliant because it was exclusive to the game, and and it's just a prototype that we on a few during a few months in 2025. So you know and the dream that we have is that every character that you're going to see in Mindara, every character that you're going to see in the fight at some point, whether it's the playable characters, the mobs, the NPCs, and the bosses, we want them to be unlockable in some sort of versus mode.
Right.
So by default, the versus mode exists in the game because we already have the ability to play a fight in the game. So just add the controller for the second character, and that's it. But it comes with if you really want to dedicate over a versus mode, a complete versus mode with rollback, for sure it comes with a higher cost for sure. A bigger number of hours dedicated to being able to make sure that the game works online correctly, and you need a little bit of balance for the game for sure, because
Yeah.
you don't want the game to be completely imbalanced. And all right, so take the final boss versus the final boss, and that's all you're gonna get if you move it to a little more competitive way. But even if we don't reach that goal on the Kickstarter, we are going to want to put effort to make this happen, whether it's going to be on release date or maybe later down the line, depending on the success of the game. It's so it's not, even if we don't reach that goal, it's not a big no to that feature.
Yeah, and I heard, and I think if I remember reading this correctly, that um, you guys are going to have unlockable characters like you did back in the early 2000s and
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the late
Like I
90s.
said,
And it's not going to be a DLC pack. It's going to be you're going to have to like work and replay the game over and over again, and with different
yeah,
characters to unlock
but
uh, different characters, and it's not going to going back to the old ways of like of replayability to unlock characters.
well, you can think of the Dragon Ball Budokai, the very first one. Have you
Right.
played this one?
Yes.
You start the game with like 5 characters or something like this, and you have 20 or 25 to unlock afterwards. This is definitely that what we are thinking about when we are thinking about the versus mode in Mindara. If you start the game and you want to go to versus right away, you're probably only going to have Maya and Mindara available in the versus mode. But as you progress throughout the story, you're going to unlock new characters in your party because the game is going to come with like a party of 2 characters, but you're gonna have to select between 6 or 7 characters. We're not really sure of the number right now, but it's gonna be something like this, and all the NPCs, the hunter that you've met in the prototype that you're doing
Right.
when you were exploring, then who is the boss of the prototype. You will be able to play them in the versus mode,
In
but
like the
you're gonna have to
brother.
unlock them. Yeah, you're gonna have to unlock them throughout the story. So, and it's not only gonna be like, all right, beat them and that's it, and you unlock them. We want to bring more conditions to how you unlock those characters in the game, just for people to give a little more excitement and a little more challenge on how we are going to unlock characters in the game.
Yeah, and that
Um,
makes an $80 physical price point even more enticing because I'm only paying $80. I'll be honest. I've spent $320 within a year on Street Fighter 6.
all right.
$320 on the base game and three DLC packs. Plus, I've given them like $13 a handful of times just to get outfits that I didn't get before or that I wanted, or a fighting pass. So that I believe is going to be very enticing for a lot of older players who, like my friend Glitch, who's uh, watching right now. He is so excited about that. He is so excited, and I know a lot of more people would be so excited that, oh, I'm getting pretty much a full game. This is like how it was back in the day when it was just a full game on a disc.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we think about DLC for the games, but it's not gonna be about new characters only. It's gonna be about new maps to explore. It fits more with the genre of the game, actually.
Right. Yeah. Because
Um,
like Monster Hunter does that. They don't.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They give you
and
more
and
new maps, new monsters to
yeah,
fight,
we really
collabs.
mm, we're really early on the game development, so I cannot tell you what we've chosen because made we haven't had those discussions seriously enough to to make a decision on this. But
Hmm.
this is the way that we are taking right now, and we don't intend to have Mindera as a full live service game, like classic 1v1 fighting game could be.
Right.
Where it's really heavy on the narrative, um, enough so that we can just like, hey, we're gonna have a new season pass of 6 characters in the game that are not going to be shown in the story just because we want to make it work like that. I mean, if that's what happens at some point, it's because that's what the players want. But I'm pretty sure that the audience that we are targeting with this game is completely different that traditional 1v1 fighting games. So
Yeah.
it's
They're definitely more people who played Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation. You know,
yeah, yeah,
they
absolutely.
they they they
Absolutely.
grew up playing Chrono Trigger.
We
They
want to provide a full complete experience that when you buy the game, you have it, you can do it. You can do it over how many days that you want, and you're going to be invested in the story. You're going to be invested in trying to unlock everything 100%. Um, to me, it doesn't work like that with a 1v1 classic fighting game. So it's really different.
Speaking of investing time, how much time will we have to invest for like completion? Like what is your
Hmm.
what are you
Yeah.
thinking that or have you guys figured out like the game is 20 hours, 30 hours worth of gameplay.
Yeah. You mean complete? The whole 100% game,
Or both,
I
just like
mean,
the like
yeah.
from start to finish,
This is not
for
something
the
that I
story.
can. Yeah, this is not something that I can actually engage on, because it comes with too many factors for us to for me to tell you exactly the number of hours, but we definitely aim for like a 12 to 15 hours for the main quest, and an additional 10, 12 hours for the if you want to do the whole 100% story.
That's
That's
and that
that's definitely that's real, but that might be a too big number right now that I'm telling you. So I don't want to promise anything on this.
yeah. But
This
I
is
mean,
definitely something that we are aiming right now.
yeah, and again, that is um for people who are like, why should I invest $80 into this game in the next 6 days, or why should I invest $30 in this game, or 110 in Canadian, and those are good points. Like you have at least 20, at least speculatively, guys. Keyword here, speculatively, 24 hours worth of gameplay. Okay, 24 hours worth of gameplay. You have a replayability of unlocking multiple characters. There is no DLC of characters you have to unlock. You have to OG replay the game or play the game through and unlock the characters by playing the story mode. And that is definitely worth people. I see value. I see this game have for an RPG fan or JRPG fan. I think people who invest their time into JRPGs and especially even to fighting games, and with how fighting games are now, like personally me, I am not going to spend $50 on season 4 DLC pass for Street Fighter 6, because one, the only character that I care about is Tifa. Um, which is no shade to any of the other characters, but two, Marvel Tokon comes out 2 days before, so I'm going to be spending my money on that. And then Avatar comes out like a week before that, and then I've already dropped $22 on Mandara. So like my video game budget for the month is already spent. So, and I think that that's how a lot of people are going to see this game, is like, why would I want to spend, this much money on a fighting game and a JRPG when I can get the best of both worlds for this amount of money, and put like, I mean, I have over 700 hours into Street Fighter, and I will probably have 1,000 hours plus into this game once it comes out. Between
Yeah.
between the story modes, between playing with my friends online, you know, and doing tournaments and helping run tournaments and whatnot. I'm hoping that once the game comes out in a couple of years and things are popping off, that Tampa Never Sleeps does an online weekly, or at least a bi-monthly, where this is a game that they play on Saturdays or Sundays. That is my hope for you guys, is that Tampa Never Sleeps picks up this game and people play this competitively. And I'm hoping that you guys get into being able to do like the community tournaments at Combo Breaker and at CEO and
Yeah.
Evo.
Like I said, we have Mindara is not primarily designed for competitive play. It would be enormous if we could achieve that. But there are going to be other BadRez games coming in the future that will be completely dedicated to that, specifically. So, but of course, if Mindara, if we ever have a tournament of Mindara, it's going to be huge for us. If people actually see a competitive aspect out of this game, for sure that we're going to enjoy um, what's going to come out.
Yeah, but I'm excited for you guys, um, and I'm excited that you guys got funded. I'm going to throw this up on the screen one more time for people to see um, before we end our interview. So, guys, like I said, um, the Kickstarter is live. Still, we have 6 days to back. There are tons and tons of cool options um, to back. So please consider backing those. Um, I think it would be great for those of you who want to back this Kickstarter. So please consider backing. Um, I mean, even though it's funded, everything's gravy. There's always stretch goals. Like I said, there is a stretch goal for versus mode and online rollback, and that I know is key for a lot of people to have rollback netcode. So
Yeah.
if we can drop another 20,000 guys in 6 days, that would be great. If not, we got 2 years to help. We'll send BadRez. We'll do a GoFundMe for rollback.
Yeah.
but
We've
but
got
yeah.
other cool, very cool stretch goals that are coming on as well. If we ever went to reach that point.
Oh, also, let me ask you this: are you guys going to keep the Kickstarter up um, post I guess after, because I know a buddy of mine, Mark, he just put out a comic book for his publishing company, and he's kept his Kickstarter up, I think, for another month for people to still get into pledging and whatnot. And I know that's a feature now on Kickstarter.
Yeah. We are thinking about it. We're still thinking about the post campaign strategy here. So it's possible that we do it, but I'm not yet sure that we're going to do it or not.
I mean, you guys,
it depends on several factors.
For me, have really, like, literally today, like, I just got on Instagram and literally the first thing I saw was it, and it said ad for Mindara. I was like, these guys are just killing it in this meta advertisement side of things. I mean, I don't have a Facebook, I just have Instagram, but like literally, like every time I'm on, there's at least 5 ads for the game. And of course, I follow you
maybe,
guys.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe we are repeating too much. We're repeating ourselves too much. I don't know, but that's cool. It brought us where we are now, so it's really cool. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, and hopefully we can get some more top, FGC content creators like Justin, and we can get some Brian F's and some PDF. Hopefully we can get Max, because once you get Max, then because I don't understand, like I think maybe after Evo he might be a little bit more apt to do this, because I could totally see Max playing through the story mode and then having the dudes over on a night where they're just doing versus mode.
For sure, yeah. So yeah, we are thinking about it, but I cannot tell right now if we're gonna do it or not. It's gonna depend on several factors. Let's see how the end of the campaign goes. Usually Kickstarter campaigns go like they are shaped in U. So lots of momentum at the beginning of the campaign, lots of momentum at the end of the campaign. So we are about to reach that moment at some point in the next few days, and afterwards we'll see how it goes, and take our decision there, because it comes with a different it comes with different requirements as well. So yeah.
Right. But yeah, I'm honestly, when you guys said you got funded, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, because I was like, I hope they get funded, because there was a not a lot more to go, but I was just like, man, that like they're almost there. They're like almost there, and then I was just like, it was like, is this gonna get funded? Is this not? But yeah, I am so excited, like, that you guys got funded, and you guys are still literally, like I said, 6 days. So please go fund. I'm going to fund next week. I'm going to get my digital copy. secured and in the bag because I'm definitely going to want to play this game more. And I will definitely play the game more once we get more releases and I can get into, a beta that I can publicly show off. I will definitely show off.
We've got the kitchen pack in there. It's a little more expensive, but it comes with regular playtest build that we're going to give to the players, and it's going to be a secret dev room that we may or may not include in the final game, which is going to include all the mechanics that we have right now, so we don't spoil the story to the players that have backed us and supported us that far. But we're going to have a special map that people are going to be able to traverse and see all the cool stuff that we are working on at the moment that we're delivering. It should be every 3 months after the start of the production, so it's going to be big during 2027. But yeah.
Well, that sounds amazing. Mathis, I just want to
Thank
thank
you.
you. I want to thank you
Thank you
so
very
much
much.
for taking time out of your day and being on the podcast. This is probably one of the most successful podcasts I've done out of the three.
glad,
So,
glad,
so no
glad to hear it.
technical difficulties. But yeah, thank you again
All
for
right.
being on. I'm super excited. Like I said, I am super excited to play this game. I'm so happy that you guys got, you reached the goal way before, not way before, but at least a week before
A
things
week
were
before
shutting down.
school, yeah.
So that's I know it's a load off of your shoulders right now. You can breathe a little easier, uh, for a little bit at least. But
Yeah, yeah.
but thank you again, and thank you to your team for being so awesome and helping me pull this off.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me as well. It's been a nice conversation. So
I'm yeah, and like I
better is
said,
shared.
if you need any help on the accessibility side, don't hesitate to DM me or have your team DM me.
Um,
I can definitely help you guys get. I want this game to be as accessible as possible for as
it's
many people as possible.
it's noted. I'm really gonna think about it hard. Even if it's not exactly for this project at the moment, but I'll keep it in mind for sure.
Awesome. Well, Matthews, you have a wonderful rest of your day. And guys,
Thank
thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much for hanging out with us today. And again, Matthews, thank you. But yeah, um, please back. This game is when you what Q of 2028? So Q4 of 2028,
Q4, yeah. Right now it's for Q4, yeah.
Q4
We're targeting
2028.
Q4.
We'll probably be seeing a lot of trailers coming in 2027, Summer Games Fest, Game Awards. This is probably going to win like Indie Game of the Year. So hopefully you and your team have saved up a lot of money because you guys are going to be going to LA at least two to three times in the next 2 years. So
Yeah,
guys,
let's see.
get ready for that. But again, Mathis, thank you so much, and
Thank
you
you
have a
very much.
wonderful day.
Cheers.
Bye. Uh, Window capture. All right, guys. Oh, that is not up. And let's keep that right there. Uh, oh no! I totally forgot. I am not in green screen. I'm not in my green screen mode. Select. And I should be in focus. Am I in focus now, guys? I think I am. I think I am. I think I am. Yes, somewhat in focus. And all that good stuff. But guys, thank you again so much for hanging out. I very much appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you again, Mathis, and his team for coming and hanging out. I very much appreciate y'all. You guys are awesome. And I have to go get ready because I'm going to go see Supergirl. So until the next one, I will see you guys around.